Hey everyone, Monica Bodierski here. Thank you for tuning in. As always, I really appreciate your comments and the fact that you've subscribed to my channel. Well, let's get right to the newsy portion of the video and the reason for the video. Well, after 116 videos and making one every week without fail, even when I felt a little under the weather would be putting it mildly, either psychologically or physically, I still managed to get the videos out every week. And the reason I started the channel was because I felt like sharing. No other reason. I thought, it's COVID. There are people who are isolated, and I'm one of them. And I'm just going to throw it out there and see if anyone wants to hear what I have to say. I'm a little surprised that people do. Not that I'm undervaluing myself. It's more, I'm very introverted, and I am not, in case you hadn't noticed, all the flash and special effects. This is very much a talking head, commentary, kind of a sharing. And I thought, well, maybe people don't care to watch that. But since I had a deck come out from Schiffer, Red Feather, Mind, Body, and Spirit, and I have published my own decks, I thought, well, I can talk about those and offer some spreads or advice because maybe they're not the average decks, and I'm not doing that as a humble brag. I mean, they may seem a little off the wall to people who are used to very standard decks. So it would give me an opportunity not to explain myself or defend myself, but to help people who want to learn a different perspective when it comes to oracle cards or tarot card reading and divination and maybe a little witchcraft and herbalism. So I should have called it Monica's Diary. Anyway, I do need a break. So thank you, friends, subscribers, viewers, and all of you who've supported me every single week. I will be taking a mini vacay. I don't know how long. And I think I mentioned I am an introvert, and that does surprise some people because they think if you're friendly or chatting that, I don't know. I think people expect introverts to be really surly and angry. Get away from me. It's like, no, we can be like this. We can be friendly for those short bursts, and then now I have to be alone for 3 days in the dark. Don't talk to me. Just to recover from the stimulation of things. And I think that's especially true when you're sensitive. It's not just artists. I think sensitive people can be very introverted because experiences are just overwhelming at times, sounds, smells. And as you know, I do refer to myself as a walker between the realms. So I may be experiencing some things other folks are not, and also get overwhelmed. So, being a hashtag adult, almost, it's taking so long. I thought before I hit the wall and hit burnout, because you get to know yourself pretty well after a while, right? I thought, this might be a good time to take a breather and do the things that really are a bit more contemplative. And especially since everything is noisy and running again post-COVID, street noise. I live in a city, a fairly big city, and it was so silent for the first couple of months of COVID because we had a lot of lockdown restrictions. You weren't even supposed to be on the streets. So I've never heard, and no airports, normally we hear planes going over. You could hear a pin drop. It was so eerie. There were good things about it, of course. I certainly reviewed a lot. I think a lot of people went into that. So what am I doing with my life space? And that's probably a good thing that a lot of us had a timeout, especially if we had the luxury of having a roof over our heads and being relatively safe. So I find it really noisy now, basically. It's not a bad thing. I like hearing people. It is summertime. There are lawnmowers and people talking and yelling and parties and traffic and cars, airplanes, and that's nice. But I find that I need to sequester myself a little bit more to create that balance. So part of that is, taking a break from YouTube, and that's tough. I didn't think it would be. I thought, oh, sure, just stop, start. But some of us, once we get going, we almost have this, like, I cannot admit defeat. And we'll just keep on going, and that's not healthy. I teach people about self-care. Time to take my own advice, and I do know what to do. I mean, I appreciate that people might be tempted to offer advice, but I got that. I got it. I just need to do it. And part of that is eliminating a few things right now that are taking up too much time at the moment for how I'm feeling, mind, body, and spirit. And I love making art, and I am working on a new tarot, and there will be a new deck coming out in fall. The publishing industry, not self-published, but it's slow, and because of supply chain issues, it's slower than usual. There are a lot of issues right now post-COVID, and because of the war in the Ukraine, and things are a little more difficult. Regardless, I have a wonderful deck coming out. I hope it's wonderful. I don't know. I'm just happy it's coming out. It's of my own making entirely. It's an oracle, and it is about casting. So by casting, of course, curio casting and bone casting. It's from my own system, a system that I use, and they're the accompanying cards. So I hope you enjoy that. And you can always go to my website to get the newsletter to stay up to date on the classes I'm offering. I'm going to be focusing more on my classes online for international participants and live classes for local people. And I will be staying on Instagram and offering those cards for Wednesday, and a little bit of a longer video reading every Friday on IGTV. I do the occasional reels, and try to offer some quality content, not just talking about cards, but just how you may look at cards. And yes, I do use my cards a fair bit, but that's not meant as a sales thing so much as I wouldn't know where to begin with all the other artists out there, because I can't cover them all, and inevitably I will insult one of my tarot counterparts because I will forget somebody, and it's easier, as you know, for me to read the cards that I've created. It's kind of convenient, and because they're very much about shadow work, I think there is, again, a little bit of a different perspective there. So thank you for tuning in to Instagram, IGTV, and going to my website. Thank you for all the decks that you've purchased and the products. I still have tarot bags and other things on my website. But for the next little while, I'm going to be slowing my roll just a little, enjoying the fresh air, and going to my witchy garden space and cabin and working on the next tarot deck. I'm only about 30 cards into 78 cards. I will be giving updates, I'm sure, on Instagram. That is a pretty daunting task for those of you who can't even imagine creating 78 pieces of art in a short period of time. You have to find that calm, centered location in you that doesn't panic under deadline stress and can still be very creative. So, I'm not good at goodbyes, so this won't be a goodbye. It is a see you soon. And I appreciate, as I've said, all of the support you've given. I really have enjoyed hearing the feedback. You know, some people have made some very excellent points, things that I hadn't thought about, and honestly, other than the occasional thumbs down, ooh, everyone's been so kind, and it's a great experience. So I will be back. Now, I know that sounded like a threat. I will return, and I hope to return refreshed with some quality content and updates. And until then, stay safe, stay well, look after yourselves and your community, stay witchy, love tarot, and I will talk to you real soon. Thanks again. Bye-bye.